entrepreneurship is like it.
Sir, 30 seconds.
Good morning to one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all for today's technical talk on Dare to Innovate, Think Big, Experiment Boldly. May I now request our Principal Sir, Dr. N. Anbuchelian, to welcome the gathering. Over to you, sir.
A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of our management of R.M.D group of institutions, and on my own behalf, along with our entire faculty and the students team, hearty welcome to Mr. Ravi Kiran, Vice President, Amazon. We are very happy that Mr. Ravi Kiran is our ECE 2009 batch student. He is our proud and eminent alumni who is helping us in different areas, who is helping his juniors also. Today, in our technical lecture series, he has come here to present the very important topic related to the innovation, a great topic of today's nature, and dare to innovate, think big, experiment boldly. The real learning happens only by doing, and real innovation happens the same manner. Number of people you might have overcome the failures, and all the successful people who are in today success, tasted with the success, they have already tasted the failure. How to do this innovation in a different manner with real experimentation, with a great boldness. This is what the today's topic is going to be. He is going to speak like you, the viewers. We are also very eager to listen to Mr. Ravi Kiran, our proud alumni. Thank you for joining, and thank you, Mr. Ravi Kiran, on behalf of the management of our R.M.D group of institutions for coming over here to present the very important topic, a very important technical lecture. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Ravi Kiran. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the kind introduction. It's an honor to be back at my alma mater and have the opportunity to speak with you all today. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm delighted to be here with you today as an alumnus of this prestigious engineering college. Firstly, I want to thank the management for inviting me to speak to all of you and share some of my experience and insights. And once again, thank you, sir, for setting the context. And I'm so looking forward to speaking and engaging with the students of our college and our faculty members. Unfortunately, we have to do this remote, but I'm still very excited for this opportunity. And thank you once again for inviting me and for the kind welcome, sir. As someone who has worked in the technology industry for several years, I'm passionate about inspiring and motivating the next generation of innovators, such as yourselves. So today, I want to talk to you about some of the most exciting developments in the technology field, including AI/ML, data science, and cloud computing. And I know a lot of us are hearing a lot of, some of them might think it's buzzword and this is a new technology that is coined around, but please stay focused throughout the session to see what is happening around the industry, right? So that is why I'm here to bring you the technology trends and how we are progressing and advancing in this technology streams and how you can take part of this and be the next innovators, be the next entrepreneurs that is going to change the world. So my hope is that this presentation will inspire you to think big, experiment boldly, and make a positive impact on the world. So without further ado, let's get started. So as we all know, we don't need to state that, but we all know technology is advancing rapidly. And it's important for all of us to stay up to date with the latest trends and breakthroughs. But let me be honest here. It can be overwhelming at times with so much information to absorb and so many distractions vying for our attention. If I can take an analogy, right? It's like a bit of running a marathon. At the start, the finish line can seem impossibly far away, and the road ahead can be daunting. But just like a marathon, staying up to date with the technology trends and breakthroughs is about breaking it down into smaller, manageable pieces and focusing on making progress step by step. And I want to share an example, what I mean by breaking it down into smaller, manageable pieces. And I will go back in time to my undergraduation days, or in my college, right? At the R.M.D. Engineering College. So we all know we have any subject you take, there are like 5 chapters, right? And as far as I can remember, at least back then, in the semester exams, you expect to have 1 question from each of these chapters, right? And each question carries around 20 points or something. And there are some smaller questions which carry 2 points. So it is overwhelming to look at the whole textbooks, and there is a lot going on, and it's not just one subject. So what my methodology that I adopted and I shared with a lot of my friends back in the time was I used to spend a good amount of time, right? Breaking it down and spending the time on the index page and looking at what are all the contents. What is the chapter, right? Within the 5 chapters, what is the chapter that I can really spend most time on and get a good understanding of where it's going, right? And break that into small pieces. And now the equation is the formula is very simple. It's like you aim at 3 top chapters and you aim for 60 without any doubt, right? And you should be able to answer anything. And the rest 2 chapters, I used to experiment, right? With the knowledge that I gained with the 3 chapters, I can easily get to a distinction, right? 75 or 80 points, and then you're good to go. So that's how I used to go after my semester exams, and the methodology worked, and I graduated with distinction from R.M.D. Engineering College, right? So it's the same way, right? Breaking it down to manageable pieces and things that you can chew on. But now that said, there has to be a plan for you to be able to do that, right? Whether it's dedicating a certain amount of time each day to reading up on the latest developments or focusing on specific areas of interest, it's important to stay committed and focused on the end goal. And like a marathon, with persistence and dedication, we can all reach the finish line and achieve our goals. And that was my goal back then, right? Now, after that, everything that I do, any startup or any venture that I go after, I break it down into small pieces. And then I will also give you another tip that I do. When I want to go after something or learn something, what I do is I subscribe to those YouTube channels. I subscribe to the LinkedIn, follow the LinkedIn pages, or whatever I want to go after in my digital ecosystem. I make sure that even when I open Facebook, only related topics will come to me. So that way I am consciously updating myself with the latest developments that are happening in that field. So that's one tip that I suggest all of you. If you want to go after something, go after every element of your life where you're going to spend time. So without knowing, even Instagram, you can just follow the influencers who specialize in the AML field, right? And you just keep getting their videos and so on. But those are some tips you can take on to keep up to date with the technology trends. Now, okay, now you know the technology trends, you're learning about it, and you're staying up to date. Now what to do, right? There is a vast potential out there. And some of the most exciting developments in recent years have been in the fields of AI/ML, data science, and cloud computing. And we'll talk more about it with the examples, but stay tuned. AI and ML are allowing us to create intelligent machines that can learn and adapt to new situations, while data science is helping us make sense of vast amount of data to uncover new insights. And now cloud computing is revolutionizing the way we store, manage, and process data, making it possible for businesses and individuals to access powerful computing resources from anywhere in the world. And that's the key thing, right? So you can be anywhere in the world and you can be sitting on the beach and you can just get your dreams come true, right? So that is what a cloud computing is doing to all of us, right? Allowing us to innovate from wherever we are. You just need to think about it and go experimenting about it. And we'll talk about it. So it's important for students in all fields of STEM, right? Engineering, science, mathematics, technology, to have a basic understanding of these technologies, as they have the potential to transform every industry in the world. Now, if you do not have the basic understanding, that's a trouble. And we already discussed about how you can get there, right? By surrounding yourself with those channels that you have. Today, we have a vast amount of data and videos and content that you can leverage into, right? So get yourself into those areas, right? Educate yourself, get the basic understanding. And of course, you are in the college, we have a lot of resources as well. Our teachers, our lecturers, our staff has a lot of knowledge in this area. So go talk to them, right? And learn about it. And we have great library and great resources and subscriptions to state-of-the-art educational resources. So we all need to take advantage of that. And that's what we used to do back then as well. So with that, now you know the technology trends and you're learning the technology trends, and you know what the vast potential that these technologies are allowing us to do us. Now, that's your opportunity. The potential of these technologies is vast, and we are only beginning to scratch the surface of what they can do. AI and ML are already being used to improve healthcare outcomes, optimize energy usage, enhancing cybersecurity, building autonomous vehicles, and personalized education, and advanced robotics, and many more. And the examples are limitless. And we will talk about some of the examples in the upcoming slides, but it is changing the way we are making our living today. Now, data science is being used to improve customer experiences, optimize supply chains, and make accurate predictions in fields like finance and sports. And coming to cloud computing, it is making it possible for companies of all sizes, let it be the startup, let it be the enterprises, let it be a company that is in a very remote area. It doesn't matter where they are, doesn't matter what size they are. It is allowing the companies of all sizes to access powerful computing resources without the need for expensive hardware. So you're not spending money for procuring a server. You're just spending a very little amount of money to be able to do that. And we'll talk about how you can do that as well. With the right training and resources, students in any field can learn to apply these technologies to solve complex problems and create new opportunities. Let me just take a quick water break. 1 second, please. Excuse me. So with that, as students, you are in a unique position to be part of this next wave of innovation in technology. By staying up to date with the latest developments in your fields and seeking out opportunities to contribute to cutting-edge research and development, you can help shape the future of the industry. Whether it is through, let it be the internships, research projects, or attending industry events. Now, a lot of the time, I used to get permission from our HOD sir and our principal sir to go to symposiums, right? And symposiums happening across different colleges within our vicinity, right? So that gives us exposure, right? Attending those and collaborating those and participating in those will give you a lot of different exposure. Now, you got to do all of that, right? And there are many ways for you to gain practical experience and make meaningful contributions to the field. So by developing a strong foundation in the latest technologies and applying them to real world problems, you can become a true innovator and make a difference in the world. And we'll talk about how we are going to do that. But that's a broader picture of what I wanted to share, right? So key takeaways from this slide. 1, stay up to date with the technology. What is happening? Learn about it. And don't just spend hours and hours spending on whatever movie reviews that you want to see or something. Learn about how those are being generated, right? So that is the curiosity element of it. So keep up to date about how whatever we are using today is being powered. And that itself is a great thing. And you can make those things even better. And then now you learn about the technology. The next key takeaway is tap into the potential that we have and take that as an opportunity to lead some of those initiatives, right? Now, one of the things that I want to call out, which is really important, is thinking big. As we have just seen, the potential of AI, ML, data science, and cloud computing is vast. And we are only beginning to scratch the surface of what these technologies can do. But with all this innovation happening at such a rapid pace, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget to dream big. Now, that's a problem. That's why it's so important to think big, to set ambitious goals that inspire and motivate us to push beyond our limits. And when we think big, we challenge ourselves to reach new heights and achieve things we never thought were possible. And in the world of technology, this can have a profound impact, not just on our personal growth, but on the industries that we work in and the world we live in. So let's talk about how we can start thinking big and make our mark on the world. Now, before I get into that, right, let me just talk about what thinking big really means, right? For me, thinking big means setting ambitious goals that inspire and motivate you to push beyond your limits. Do not limit yourself. You have to push beyond yourself. The moment you limit yourself, you're creating a wall around you. And that is not good. So motivate yourself and inspire yourself to push beyond your limits. It means not settling for the status quo or what's been done before, but instead imagining new possibilities and working tirelessly to make them a reality. Now, working tirelessly is the key, right? So you got a lot of time on your hands as students. And once you get into the world of working for large enterprises and doing different things, there is not just work, there is also life that happens. And all of a sudden, the moment you're out of the college, you really become very busy and you will have limited time to really take time out. But if you're able to do that, and there are people who have done that and have been extremely successful, we'll talk about it. But given where you're today as students, you got time to be able to really think big and work hard, work tirelessly, work smart to make them a reality. And when you think big, you challenge yourself to reach new heights and achieve things you never thought were possible. And it is doable. And this can be incredibly empowering and rewarding, not only for your personal growth, but as I was saying multiple times, it's important to think broader and think bigger. So we are talking about not just ourselves and not just people around us, but also the impact you can make in the world. Now, that's how big you want to think. Don't just think local, think global and act local, right? So that's very important. So think super big. If it is not big enough, and if your idea do not sound crazy, it is not big enough. So that is very important. Now, by setting ambitious goals and striving to achieve them, you can inspire and motivate others to do the same. Now look at the positive impact that you're creating, the waves you're creating. Through you thinking big, you're motivating others to think big. And together we can make a profound impact on everything that we are doing for the people around us, for the world around us. So think big, right? So that's one takeaway. Think big. Your ideas have to be crazy. Anybody that says this is crazy, that is a validation that your idea is good, your idea is big, and you should go after it. I'll take a quick pause. Ma'am, I just want to quickly check if there are any questions or anything from anyone. If not, I can move on.
As of now, there is no question, Ravi.
All right, ma'am. I'm moving on then. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So now that we have talked about the importance of thinking big, let's take a look at some real-world examples of companies that started with a big dream and made it a reality, right? And it's not just companies, it's also students just like yourself who really thought big and dreamt big and made it a reality. And you can see the faces on on the screen right now. And there are several, then those are great stories. And most of you know what those stories are, but I will just very quickly go over some of them, right? These companies are all great examples of what can happen when you combine ambition, creativity, and a willingness to take risks with the latest technologies. And let's take a look at some inspiring stories of innovation and entrepreneurship, right? And I hope you're able to figure out who these people are, right? On the right bottom corner, you got the founder of Dunzo, Kabir Biswas. So Dunzo, you all know, what does Dunzo do? Dunzo is an Indian startup that started with the idea of offering on-demand delivery services for various products. And we use it day in, day out, such as to bring groceries, to send our food to our friends, right? From our home to other person's home, right? Previously, you were like, you have to take out a couple of hours to do your chores. Now, Dunzo is filling that gap, right? And get your medicines, get your restaurant food. Now, the company was founded in 2015 by a small team of college students who leveraged open source tools and cloud services to build their platform. Now, I'm going to repeat that. The company was founded in 2015 by a small team of college students. It's college students. So it is you guys who leveraged open source tools, which means that you're not going after, hey, I need that license, I need this license. You're going after open source tools that are frugally available for you just to use them. And cloud services, which will get you started with free credits and so on. And I will talk about it. But these are very frugal ways for you to dream about it and to make them a reality. It's now very easy. It's available at your dispense, right? But you just need to think big and know how to go about it, right? And we'll talk about it. Now, today, Dunzo has become a leading delivery platform in India, as we all know, with operations in multiple cities and partnerships with various merchants and service providers, right? So a lot of the companies are leveraging Dunzo. Now, how can we not talk about OpenAI? Sam Altman, right? The person on the bottom left-hand side. So we all have been hearing about ChatGPT. So that's the founder of that company, right? Sam Altman. And it all started in 2015 as OpenAI being a research organization formed by a group of luminaries, including Elon Musk and Sam Altman and other team members, with a goal of advancing artificial intelligence in a safe and beneficial manner. The organization started as a small team of researchers and engineers who leveraged open source tools, again, leveraging open source tools and data sets to develop cutting edge AI models and algorithms. And today we all know everything that we are hearing about is about ChatGPT, that AI tool, this AI tool connected to OpenAI, and everything is like super advanced within the just last couple of months of releasing this product. And this is a game changer, right? And with today, OpenAI is a leading research organization in the field of AI with collaboration and partnerships with top universities and industry players. So those are some great stories. And then Postman, right? Abhinav Sharma on the Abhinav Asthana on the top right-hand side. Postman is an Indian startup again, and which offers a platform for developers to design, test, and document APIs. Again, the company has started as a very small team of developers who leveraged open source tools and cloud services to build their platform. And now, if you see the theme, every one of these people are leveraging, first of all, they're thinking big, and they're thinking broadly, and they are using open source tools, because if you're a student, if you're an entrepreneur, money is very critical. You can't tap into the funds right away, right? So you have to build everything frugally. So how do you do that? You take open source tool, you rely on open source tools, and you use cloud platforms to do a MVP, minimum viable product, or MLP, minimum lovable product, right? And test the waters, and then go big, and then scale big. And the platforms allows you to do that. So everything that we talked about, let it be Dunzo, let it be OpenAI, let it be Postman, and then HackerRank, right? And you all know about HackerRank. I think we do have subscriptions in our college, across colleges, right? For HackerRank. And the people on the left-hand side, on the topmost corner, is Hari and Vivek, who are the founders of HackerRank. For people who don't know HackerRank, I doubt, it's a platform that offers coding challenges, skills assessments, and developer community tools. And again, this company is founded by two Indian entrepreneurs who leverage open source tools and gamification techniques. Again, the idea is think big, think broad, and experiment boldly, right? So today, HackerRank has a global community of 7 million developers and is used by top tech companies for talent assessments and recruitment. So these are some of the stories. I hope some of these stories clicked with you and also are motivating you, right? Again, these are college students and these are people that are leveraging open source tools and cloud platforms. All you need to do is think big, think broad, and take a shot at it. Now, all right, you can say, yeah, you talked about thinking big. We talked about the importance of thinking big and pursuing ambitious goals. The next steps towards achieving them is through experimentation, right? By experimenting, we can test our ideas and hypotheses in a controlled and systematic way, gaining the insights needed to make progress step by step. Again, the idea is to go step by step. You are not going to achieve or build Roman Empire overnight. And we all know that. It has to be a progress. It has to be step by step. So you have to break it down into smaller pieces. But before you break into smaller pieces, you have to really think big. Then you start breaking into pieces and then have a systematic way to achieve them step by step. And so now back to the experimentation, right? Despite the benefits of experimentation, I know it can be intimidating, especially when we fear failure. Therefore, let's talk about the power of experimentation and how we can embrace it as a core part of our learning process. And failure is very important. Without failure, there is no success story without some failure experiments or bigger failure experiments. And we'll talk about failure stories as well in the coming slides. But for you to fail, you got to experiment first. You have to try something first. Without trying, if you just keep thinking and dreaming about it, you are not going to move anywhere other than your daydreaming, right? So experimentation is very key. So through experimentation, we can explore new ideas, discover new insights, and refine our approaches over time. You don't necessarily have to have a perfectly planned approach on day one. You can refine your approaches over time. It's an essential part of the scientific method and key to innovation in the technology field and the STEM fields that we are in. So by embracing experimentation, we can push the boundaries of what's possible and make breakthroughs that transform entire industries. So I'll take this opportunity to encourage you to embrace experimentation as a core part of your learning process and approach every challenge with an open and curious mindset. Now, curiosity is very important. If you're not curious, you're not learning, right? You want to stay curious. You want to go after learning things, and you have to have that curious and open mindset. Don't believe that whatever you know is what is available out there, right? Be extremely open and be extremely curious. So that's one of my very important tip today, right? And and also I want to say it's really understandable that the idea of experimentation can be scary because you don't know where to start and you don't know what the failures are. And you might be thinking, what would people think about if I fail, right? Forget about all that. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Have a risk appetite. You're just students. You are rightly situated, right? You have the right, this is the right time. So don't worry about failure. Only if you fail, you will learn the best things, because if you do not fail, whatever you have done, you will believe that's the right thing to do. So don't let failures scare you. However, as we now know, failure is an essential part of the learning process. Every successful innovator has failed multiple times before achieving breakthroughs. And they were able to get there only by experimenting boldly and not being afraid to fail. We can learn from our mistakes and develop the resilience and perseverance needed to make meaningful contributions to the world. So, as students, again, I am repeating myself here. You need to embrace failures, take the necessary steps on the path to success, and have a growth mindset, a curious mindset, and an open mindset. If you're not open, if you're not curious, if you don't want to grow, then you're not going anywhere, right? So those are all very key elements of it. Now, let me share some stories of real life innovators who experimented and persevered in the face of failure to achieve great success. These individuals all had a common thread. Everyone that you see on the slide here, they have one common thread. And if it is in person, I would have asked you to talk about their names and I would have engaged you. But since we are in the virtual mode and it's one to many, so I will not do that. But these individuals all had one common thread, which is they all thought big, which we talked about. Thinking big, very crucial, right? And they all experimented boldly. And we talked about the importance of experimentation. And they didn't let failures discourage them from pushing their dreams. So again, think big, experiment boldly, and embrace failures. Let me talk about some of the failure stories as well. It's not just about the success stories that we celebrate, even though all those success stories have some failures behind the scenes. Let's talk about some of them that we have that have a bigger failures, or people who persevered several failures before they have seen huge successes, right? And you may know some of these people or all of them, right? And let's start with the people that are on the left-hand top corner. Now, WhatsApp, they're the founders of WhatsApp. Now, I know we are at R.M.D Engineering College and we don't use mobile phones, so you may not know WhatsApp, right? No, just kidding. So they're the founders of WhatsApp. So who you're seeing is Brian and Jan. They're the co-founders of WhatsApp. Before they created this particular app, they failed several times. However, they continued their experimentation and eventually stumbled upon WhatsApp as an idea. And even back then, right, there are other messaging apps, and people were like, oh, is it just another messaging app? Is how they looked at. But these two people have an idea. Even though we had messaging apps back then, they were not as fluid. They're not as fast. They're not easy to share pictures at a very fast pace, right? They're not helping us to share videos. They're not helping us to connect to the rest of the world. And even though they're allowing, there is some cost associated with it, or there are some advertisements and there is a lot of spam around it. So these people saw that as an idea, right? So again, let me just take a step back. Don't just, if there is something that is out there, you don't need to think, oh, they solved the problem, I don't need to go after it. Always look for opportunities. If there is a gap, there will always be gap. And if that gap is big enough and there is an opportunity for you, go after that. And that is what the story tells us. Even though there are messaging platforms that existed long back, WhatsApp has come. These people have seen some serious gaps in the messaging platforms that are out there, experimented with it, failed on experimenting with several projects, but then they came out with one of the biggest messaging apps that got bought out and in the history of technology until then, right? And Facebook bought it for a whopping $19 billion. $19 billion, billion with a B, right? So that's the outcome of thinking big, experimenting boldly, and not worrying or scared about failures. Then you all should know, right? If you don't, then you really have to go do some research, right, on the technology founders and so on, right? So the right hand top person, Mr. Sridhar Vembu, the founder of Zoho, an Indian software company, born in Tamil Nadu, right? So before Zoho, Vembu had several failed projects, including a web-based word processor and an online presentation tool, right? However, those were, even though they were failures or did not work out for him, he persisted through experimentation. And eventually he came to the idea of Zoho. And we all know the success of Zoho and the markets that it penetrated into. And how did he do that? Again, he used open source tools and frugal ways to develop using cloud-based platforms. And he built the application and bootstrap his business. And today we know Zoho have more than, I believe, over 60 million users. I can be wrong on that stat, but last I checked was 60 million users worldwide and is valued at $12 billion. An Indian company from Tamil Nadu, a founder from in and around Tamil Nadu, right? So he was able to build such a vast empire with open source tools, with experimentations, by thinking big and being persistent, right? Now, it's a great story. And now the other person that you're seeing on the left-hand bottom is Kunal Shah. You all know him as a founder of Cred. If you don't know, he's also a founder of FreeCharge before Cred. It's a Indian mobile payment company, right? So before FreeCharge, Kunal had multiple failed projects, including a startup that aimed to provide a platform for small and medium-sized businesses. However, again, it's the same mantra, it's the same formula. Kunal persisted in his experimentation, he thought big, and eventually formed the idea of FreeCharge, which allowed users to recharge their mobile phones for free by offering coupons and discounts from other brands. Now, the story is funny. You may not know, but back in 10 years before or 15 years before, when we have to recharge your mobile phone, you got to go to a small shop on the roadside, and you have to wait there, and you have to ask, Anna, can you please recharge me with 50 rupees or 20 rupees? What plan? This plan, that plan, and it's like very unorganized, and it's always, yeah, you have to call somebody, can you help me recharge, right? Or you are in the middle of somewhere and you don't have access to reaching out to anybody because you ran out of your amount in your phone balance, and you have no way to get it recharged. Now think about that, and now think about where we are, right? And he saw the opportunity and he built it, and he sold FreeCharge to Snapdeal for $400 million. Great story. And then he formed Cred now. Again, think big, experiment, embrace failures. And finally, the person on the right hand bottom corner is Mr. Vijay Sekhar Sharma. He's a founder of Paytm. We all know Paytm. I don't need to give any further introduction to Paytm. Before Paytm, he had several failed projects again, including a startup where he tried to provide content services to mobile users. But again, he is same formula. Went through it, experimented with it, and then he came with idea of Paytm, became the most widely used digital payment platform in India today. He, again, if it's funny to repeat the same things again and again. Vijay also used open source tools and frugal ways to develop the platform and bootstrap his business, and eventually led Paytm to a successful IPO. So fantastic stories, right? So these inspiring stories show that experimentation and perseverance can overcome challenges and lead to great success. So let's all embrace experimentation and take bold steps towards achieving our goals. Now, as we wrap our discussion on the power of experimentation, thinking big, pursuing ambitious goals, let's shift our focus to how we can start innovating today. The stories we just heard are inspiring examples of individuals who persisted in their experimentation and eventually achieved their great success. But now the question is, how can we take those lessons and apply them to our own lives? Because that's what matters, right? That's why we are sitting here today going through this entire thing. So how can we take those lessons and apply them to our own lives? Let's explore some practical ways and take a note of some of this, right? And you may already know this, but I just want to reiterate, or maybe something that you have not come across, I'm sharing that now. Apart from you taking the courses and the subjects that you're going through in your curriculum today, there are a ton of online courses and tutorials. ton of online courses and tutorials that are free of cost or very low cost that are available today, right? So knowledge is getting the content is not a major issue today. So all you need to do is you have to go through those. You have to figure out what you need to go after. You have to take those courses and get yourself educated on that, right? So use them, use those courses, get yourself educated. First and foremost thing is to getting yourself educated. And once you learn those new skills and technologies, then you can apply to your projects or initiatives, right? So focus on yourselves. If you do not have a certain skill, go after that and learn that skill before you jump the gun, right? Now, as you are doing that, in parallel, I suggest you to participate in hackathons and coding challenges. And again, we talked about one of the story, which is Hacker Rank, right? So you gotta leverage that. You don't need to physically go there. You don't need to worry about, hey, I don't know where the hackathons are. It's not that age we are in. We are in a technology age where we know what's happening, where it's happening, when it's happening ahead of time. So plan accordingly, have the right intent, have the right mindset, right? The growth mindset, the curious mindset. So participate in those hackathons. Do go through those coding challenges. You will meet people. You will learn new things. You will understand how others are approaching it, right? So these events are a great opportunity to gain practical experience and helps you collaborate with others on real world problems. Now, think about it. You'll expand your circle, right? Very quickly as you go through these hackathons and coding challenges. You'll meet people around the world, and that is a great way to collaborate with people from other cultures, people from other regions, people that are working on various different problems that may not be a problem for us, but could become a problem for us, right? So think broadly, think big, right? So participate in those hackathons and participate in those coding challenges. Then you heard from me multiple times over the course of last 40 minutes, open source, and open source, right? Use open source software and tools, and you know how to get them, right? There is a lot of open source tools out there, and you can find them on GitHub. You can find them on other platforms. They're freely available and can be a great way to leverage existing solutions and accelerate your development process. You can also contribute to open source community, which is also another great way to contributing to the community right in the very beginning of your career phases, right? And that will count towards everything that we do. Everything that you do online, you can showcase it as your what you have contributed to the society. And people who are going to hire you or people who are going to look at your profile will know the depth that you have in this technology spaces, right? So use open source tools, learn from them, accelerate your development, and also contribute back to it. Now, the other thing, leverage the free cloud services. Now, what do I mean by that? What is free, right? Yes, there are free cloud services. Cloud services like AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure offer free tiers. If you don't know, there is a free tier that can be used to host and deploy your applications. So you can sign up for a free account without a credit card, or maybe with a credit card. I don't know. There are different companies work different ways, but there is a free tier. You can get started with small ideas. And of course, you have to ensure that you're not overdoing it, because you can very quickly get into some charges and so on. But with a proper mindset, with doing some research, create free tier accounts and experiment, right? And bring your applications like ideas to life using these cloud services. And then finally, attend conferences and meetups. And when the whole concept of conferences it's going to open up the bubble that you might be in, right? Every one of us are in one or the other kind of bubble, and it's always important to come out of the bubble and look at things bigger, learn from people who have seen and experimented and have went through a lot of journey, right? So these conferences are meant to help you with that, and those meetups, right? It's a great opportunity to network, and networking is very important, right? In this day and age, network with others in your field, learn about new developments and technologies, right? And what it will help you do is it will help you gain inspiration and motivation from other innovators. So as you do that, you will build a strong network of mentors and collaborators. Now, what's better than that? Now you have learned the skills, right? If I have to summarize, right? So I asked you to go take online courses, improve the skills that you have if you need to. And every one of us need to, right? There are skills that we always don't know. So go after them, learn new skills. Then you participate in hackathons, or in parallel, you can participate in hackathons. I suggest in doing that in parallel. Parallelly do hackathons and coding challenges. Look after open source tools and leverage them. Use cloud services to build the applications. Attend conferences and meetups to build your network. Now, once you have all this, you have a strong network of mentors and collaborators who can provide guidance, and which you can use and support to navigate the challenges of whatever you're innovating, right? And seek out opportunities to connect with others in your field and build those relationships. So that is how you go about innovating today. All right. So very quickly, I'll just go into one final story of the day, and after that, we'll quickly wrap up. And I want to just share a story, right? An inspiring example how students have leveraged their skills and resources to create meaningful innovation. The skills that I talked about, the resources that I talked to you about just a slide ago, that is what the students did. They leveraged them and they created a meaningful innovation, right? So what you're seeing here is Netra.ai. It's a project. It is developed by a group of students from Indian Institute of Information Technology, IIIT Delhi, in collaboration with a non-profit organization called Sankara Eye Foundation. And most of you might know it. The project aimed to improve the accuracy and efficiency of diabetic retinopathy screening in India by developing an AI/ML-powered diagnostic tool that can be deployed on cloud infrastructure. So the project team developed an AI/ML algorithm. Again, if you don't know how to do that, go learn about it, and then go to the cloud platforms, try it out. Go look at the open source tooling that is out there. But the idea is they developed an AI/ML algorithm that could analyze the retinal images to detect and diagnose diabetic retinopathy. This was trained on large dataset retinal images and used a cloud-based infrastructure to process the images and deliver the diagnostic results to healthcare professionals in real time. So, as we all know, the project was a huge success, and the AI/ML powered diagnostic tool was deployed in several eye clinics in India, which is a great impact. Think about it. A lot of Indian origin or Indian descent people, just like us, are prone to diabetic, right? And that could do a lot of damage to our eyes, and which means that you're worsening your eyesight. So through the technology, by experimenting, these people were able to create a diagnostic tool that will improve the accuracy and efficiency of diabetic retinopathy screening proactively. So this project is a good example for you to go after and chase your dreams, right? So about everything that we talked about. So I just wanted to share this story where you can use minimal resources, frugal resources, to be able to go experiment and really make a huge difference, an impact to the world and the people around us. So now, after exploring various examples and practical ways to innovate, let's now shift our focus to how you can make a positive impact through your skills and knowledge. As students, you have a unique opportunity to leverage your expertise in STEM fields, technology, engineering, mathematics, science, and solve real-world problems, create new possibilities, and make a difference. Whether it's through research, entrepreneurship, or community surveys, there are endless ways to take action and make a positive impact. So let's explore how you can apply your skills and start making a difference in your community and beyond. And remember, by thinking big and setting ambitious goals, you can unlock the power of your ideas and talents and create a brighter future for us all, for all of us. So I encourage you to dream big, work hard, and never underestimate the power of your ideas and talents. Again, dream big, work hard, and never underestimate the power of your ideas and talents. With that, I would like to conclude. I hope that today's discussion or today's talk has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration to pursue your own innovation journeys. We talked about the importance of experimentation, setting ambitious goals, thinking big, the importance of thinking big, and how to leverage resources to start innovating. We talked about multiple resources. We also explored how cloud computing and AI ML can be used to solve real world problems and transform industries across healthcare, manufacturing, telecom, any industry that you can think of. So, as you move forward in your careers, I challenge you to take action and pursue your dreams with passion and persistence. Don't be afraid to experiment and think outside the box. That's very important. Thinking outside the box. Remember that failure is an essential part of learning process. And success often comes from overcoming challenges and persevering. Failure, embrace failure. And that's the key to success. Now, I hope this presentation has inspired you to stay curious, stay hungry for knowledge, and stay motivated to pursue your goals. And again, thank you for your attention and for allowing me to share my thoughts with you.
Ravi,
yeah.
here we have few questions, Ravi, from
Yeah.
our students.
Yes.
I'll read out the question.
Yes.
It's actually from KV Dhanush, second year CSBS department. Hi, sir. How to approach for investments and surely process it? If we have our idea and implementation in the real market, how to proceed for investments at the next step? Can you give some insights, sir? This was the question.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dhanush, ma'am, is that what is?
Yes, Hari, Ravi, Dhanush.
Yeah. Hey, Dhanush, thank you for the question. Absolutely. So again, investments. First and foremost thing is, again, once you bring your idea to life, right? Have you think about making that an MVP, right? Build a minimum viable product, right? Take your idea and you experimented with it, and let's say you built your prototype on a cloud solution, right? And you use that to showcase what your application can do. Now, the first step is to see how the customer experience is through your product. That's number one, right? And now you iterate on that product. Now, as you're going through that process, you have to tap into the immediate circles. Right? So that's number one. And number two, as we spoke about, right, going through the conferences, going to the meetup, and sharing your ideas in a broader environments, right? So that is another very important thing as you build your network. So the network impact is very important. So that is why I encourage you to go to those conferences or meetups or hackathons, build your network and showcase your ideas within that network, right? And that will help. And that is second idea. And the third way, right, there are a lot of incubators that are out there. There are like such as Y Combinator, and within Telangana in Hyderabad, we have something called T-Hub. So the local state governments and the central government or Indian government itself, they have multiple incubators that are available. So where you can showcase your ideas and where you can go present your ideas in those startup meetings, right? And there are a ton of investors that are around there who are believes in your idea are going to come in and look at possible investments to you. And on top of it, there are also companies that are out there. And if you have a particular idea, you can always ping me on LinkedIn. The QR code that you're seeing on the screen, it will take you directly to my LinkedIn page and ping me. I can connect you with my network who are the investment network. So it's about you going on LinkedIn. So that is one another idea, right? Go on LinkedIn, search for them and tap into the network. So that's how you will go about it.
Thank you, Ravi. Next, we have another question from Shanmuga Priya, third year. Sir, how can we overcome the failure after we do a startup?
All right. Thank you, Shanmuga Priya, for the question. So, well, there is nothing called overcoming the failure, right? So you try something and you fail and you don't stall there. You don't stop there. The idea is you go do some retrospection. Don't spend like hours and hours or days and days thinking about why did I fail, right? It's not about why did you fail. How did I fail? That's a question that you want to question yourself. How did I fail? What did I do that did not work out? What should I do differently to to get a different outcome? Again, when you reiterate and when you go back to the drawing board and you try and figure out what made you fail in that experiment. Again, this is an experiment. This is not the end of your product cycle or anything. You're experimenting, right? In experiment, there will be multiple failures. So figure out how you failed and what are the changes that you need to do, and do an iteration of it and try that again. And you may fail again, and no problem. You do the same process. You do that iteratively. You do that with perseverance, right? You do not worry about and just keep thinking about why you failed. You think about how you failed, right? Don't question your abilities. Question about what went wrong and how you can change that process to make a better experiment next time.
Okay, Ravi. Thank you. I think they'll get the clear idea. And another question from Shakti: does it always require a partner to do an investment?
Hey Shakti, thank you for the question. And again, I mean, like you, I think I see from the last couple of questions, right? Do not worry about investments at this very moment, right? So investments will come through. I want you to focus on thinking big, thinking about what you want to build, what problem you want to solve. Once you know what problem you want to solve, once you know that it's a big problem that you're going after, and I already shared with you some of the resources that you have today to be able to go build a prototype. And do not say to me that, no, my idea is too big, the services that are available are too expensive, and I cannot do that. That will be a lie, that you're lying to yourself. Ideas like, as I spoke to you about, HackerRank, Zoho, WhatsApp, these are all built very frugally, right? If they are able to do that at a few years ago, now it's even more cheaper. You can go do it. Now, once you built a prototype, once you showcased what your product is capable of, you will have investors. You will have people looking at you. And I already talked to you in my last answer on how you can go after investors, right? There are the startup hubs that you can go and showcase your idea. And there is a lot of media attention as well. As and when you get there, as and when you grow your network, you will get investments. Don't worry about it. Focus on your ideas. Focus on making that idea a reality through frugal ways.
Okay, thank you, Ravi. And there is another question. What type of course need to take in this real-time topics like AML cloud? And what is the platform suggestible from your end, sir?
Absolutely. And the question is from
Shanmugapriya.
Shanmugapriya. Okay, hey Shanmugapriya. So again, the courses are like you need to figure out what is it that you want to go after. So you may think about, oh, AML, you want to get a broader idea. You can start there. And I would always suggest to go after the free resources like YouTube, right? So go after YouTube. It's free, right? You don't need any investment. Search for help me learn about AML, right? Once you get an understanding of what AML is, there will be videos that will guide you, right? Then from there, you know, very pointedly, right? You want to learn about writing ML algorithms. You want to know about how to train your data sets. You want to know about how to deal with data. Then you will get more ideas, right? Try and get a broader picture through the freely available resources out there. Break it down into pieces, figure out what you need to learn, and then specifically go to probably something like Udemy or Coursera or Khan Academy. These are all free resources that are out there, or very free, very cheaper resources that are out there. Or you can even go to cloud services providers like AWS, who offer free trainings and free training material and for students, right? So you should Google about that, right? So, but first things first, you need to get a broader understanding through doing initial research via YouTube, and from there on, you will you'll be able to build your training path accordingly. And in terms of the platform, there are so many platforms out there, right? I would suggest you to go look at AWS. And there are a lot of, it's a good start for you. So look within AWS, there are AML platforms, right? SageMaker is one of the platform. And then there is different AI services like supply chain as one of the service, recognition is one of the service, like chatbot. So there are quite a few things. So I suggest you to go to aws.com to start with, and then you can go to Google, or you can also go to Microsoft Azure and check it out for platforms.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. I think these are the questions. You have answered all our students' questions. So as you were working with the domain of cloud computing as a global macro manager for manufacturing and industrial verticals at AWS India, and you have helped the clients to be leverage about cloud computing and other cutting edge technologies. And with your extensive experience and knowledge in technology and business, you gave a guideline for our students to learn about the latest trends and breakthroughs in the industry. So now I request our Dean Research, Dr. K.K. Tyagarajan sir, to propose vote of thanks.
So good morning to all of you. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to our chairman and vice chairman for motivating us to conduct this technical talk. I thank our beloved principal, Dr. Anbuchalian, for welcoming the participants. On behalf of the management, faculty members, and students, my special thanks to Mr. Ravi Kiran, Global Account Manager, Amazon Web Services, for giving wonderful talk and motivating us to think big and innovate using right tools in AI, ML, data science, and cloud. By giving many real life successful stories. Thank you very much, sir, for coming here, for doing this and spending your time, valuable time, and motivating all of our students and faculty members. My special thanks to Dr. Amuta and all the heads of the departments who attended this meeting. I extend my thanks to all the faculty members and students who attended this program. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ravi Kiran. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all participants for viewing our session. Thank you all.